Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another car video. The chasm between the select and non-select worlds. Hadn't talked about this in a while. And y'all know I introduced those terms to this space. Let's be clear on it. Like anybody talking about it, if you want to know what's up with them, you got to come to me. And it was funny, I wasn't going to talk about that today. I was actually going to talk about men who have two wives. Like a gentleman that I know I'm acquainted with. He just recently got married to his second wife. And his first wife helped officiate the ceremony. And I know quite a few dudes like that. And I was going to talk about that, but then you know what? Let's keep it honest. Let's keep it real. A lot of guys don't have. A lot of men are having trouble just getting one woman, let alone two who are cooperative with each other. And indeed, I know some guys, they got like two and three. Shoot, they got a whole, they got a whole harem. And I don't mean something like just women they having sex with. I mean, they, they got their two or three wives and they got businesses and everything. So, because let's be clear about something with that. Let me hit something on that before I get into the main thing. Marriage is as much a business as anything else. So when you see these men or in societies that allow polygamy, it ain't just about the man getting sex. It ain't just about that. Yeah, he having sex, but it's just as much about business and expanding your legacy and everything. And I'm still waiting for the movement to like really legalize it, at least in this country. Notice I said legalize it. You still get some people, they'll have a commitment ceremony or something. It's just not recognized by the state. It is what it is. But I was thinking about that. A lot of guys can't even having trouble just getting one woman. And I ain't saying it's it is a bad thing, really. But, and this ain't to jump on the case or anything. But then if you explain the other side, boom. Indeed, I've seen many occasions when, you get some guys who are definitely select and they'll say stuff and the non-select guys act like they crazy as shit. But here's the thing, both sides aren't wrong. Both sides are just expressing their viewpoint. And it's legit. It's legit. But the thing is, I'm like, wait a minute. How is it that one side ain't seeing the other? And it's usually more the non-select side can't see the select side. Because as I've said before, once again, I introduced the term to this space, so anybody who try to make it a select, non-select thing is on some bullshit. Y'all shouldn't even listen to them. Yeah, I said it. You shouldn't even listen to them because, as I pointed out in my books, most men who are select had to work their way there. I would say 85% of the men who would be considered select, they had to do the work to get there. You're only going to have a small percentage of men who just got the combination of genetics and personality just to pop up. And even they got to work to unleash those traits. So, thing is, that's the whole thing with it. But one of the things is a lot of men don't think they can work to get there. And because they don't think they can work to get there, don't really understand the other side. They haven't seen it. It's like Cousin Tito said in a webinar I hosted that he presented some information. He said it best, every man needs at least one day in the shadow world. If you really see it, you see a totally different thing. But many men won't get there. And one of the things, and this is something because I would say back in the day, a non-select dude, he could probably be around the select dude and learn something, improve his shit just by being around him. Maybe in the neighborhood or something like that. But because of people not connecting like they used to, people not hanging out, there's a chasm between it where those non-select guys can't even watch what the select guys are doing. And then, of course, let's be real. You do have some people, even if you don't want to use those terms, if you want to use alpha, beta, 80-20, whatever, they making money on platforms like YouTube, catering to the non-select, not really telling them anything that can improve. Indeed, you got some of those guys, they will attack other guys they're working with. And let's be real, it's money. Because let me say it again. I introduced those terms to this space. My books are about improvement. 85% of men who are select started off non-select. So they had to do the work. That's why I'm always talking about that. But what's happening is there's some guys non-select, they having trouble with women, they're not doing the work, they creating their own world. And then of course the select world is totally different anyway. Like for the guys who have no concept of it, imagine a world where women, even on a casual basis, are cooperative with you. Just on a casual, they ain't even trying to get sex from them, just casual. Like imagine a world where, just walking down the street, instead of you having to talk to women, random women say hi to you. Random women give you a real smile. Random women. You just walking down the street. Or random women just checking you out, looking you up and down, letting you know. Indeed, even random women coming up to you, handing you their phone number. It's a totally different vibe. So, because of that, it's different. Also with some non-select men, and I've said this before, non-select men do get some attention from women, just not good attention. Because you got some women, in general, women would prefer not to be around them at all, but if the man got something that they could use, a moving truck, willingness to move their apartment or house, move the stuff in it, willingness to spend money on it, shoot, huh? Yeah, they'll still deal with them, but it's a different vibe. It's a different vibe. And yeah, sometimes even the women will have sex with some of the guys, but, pancake sex. They'll fake it, whatever. And I mean, it's a different vibe. It's a different energy. You create, there's like two different mindsets. And like I said, what I'm seeing is more and more of a chasm. It wasn't as bad at first. It wasn't as bad maybe 30 years ago, to be honest. But it's getting worse now. Because like I said, you got some guys, it's too many guys now really exploiting that non-select group. One way or the other. One way or the other. And tell them just enough to keep money flowing. They ain't trying to say, oh, okay, this is what you can do. Honestly do. They'll be just telling them, oh yeah, these women are bad. These women are bad and everything. Instead of saying, okay, what can you do to change it? In other words, offer solutions. And it's not a good thing. Because look, let's be real. Let's keep it 1,000. 1,000. Men want women. I mean, that's normal. That's a biological thing. That's normal. If you're a heterosexual man, you want women because you got that inner drive to reproduce. You got that inner drive. You want it. It's normal. And there's no shame in it. If your ass is heterosexual, you want a woman. But, and trust me, even psychologically, mental health wise, I can mess with a man if you don't get it. Now some men try to play it off, but please, you can trace a lot of crime, a lot of negative circumstances, a lot of negative events to man ain't getting no pussy. Or even women just validating them. And yes, it's important. Yes, it's important. Come on now, seriously, just be honest about it. And of course that's just geared to that drive. You want to have that connection. There's actually some deeper metaphysical stuff to it, but I'll get around to it on my Deep Thought channel. But it's just a reality, and there's nothing wrong with that reality. But unfortunately, some men are caught in the wrong place, and unfortunately, they're not really finding the real way out. A lot of men living in some delusion or whatever, getting mad at everything instead of like doing what it takes to get to that point. And I'm giving free information on how to get to that point. Because like when I talk about body game and everything, what's the primary thing? Biology. I mean, it's just we can't get around it. In fact, relationships are really biology filtered by culture. Biology filtered by culture. But if you take care of that basic part, that opens you up for more. that opens you up for more. Now, of course, yeah, there's more work that you have to do, but it's possible. Everything is possible. You know, one thing I said at the summit, the last self-improvement summit, I specifically told everybody, I said, hey, every single person already built with everything they need to get a mate. Every single person. There's no exceptions. No exceptions. They got something within them. They just have to find it. You know? But unfortunately, a lot of guys ain't finding it. And then they get mad at the guys who have found it. They get mad at them for what? Having a good personality? Having like some favorable genetics? Shoot. Haven't done the hard work? Shit, that's the main part. Like I said, and I'm gonna reiterate this, and this is especially for everybody who try to act like there's some, there's no way, somebody stuck in a position. Most of the select men, 85%, that's a loose estimate, might be even more, had to work to get where they are, and the other 15%, they still had to work to unleash what they had within. You know, but that chasm, I'll tell you what, the chasm's unnecessary. That chasm is unnecessary because if you really take an honest look at the men who are truly selecting, and I don't mean based on, the physical thing. Because if you put a bunch of men in a room, you can right away tell who's select and non-select to the women. Only way I would even have an idea, I'd have to like sit there and talk with the person a while, see what their mindset is, and then even then. I'd have to put them in a group of women and watch how the women respond to them. I'd have to and even then, I would actually have to get the women under a lie detector test if they had sex with them. But the difference is, if it's not really that much of a physical difference, it's more the mindset. It's up here. And I've said that before. All that other stuff helps, of course. All that other stuff is good bait, but you're talking about the actual connection. That's in your mind. It's the difference. It's like in sports. It's if you really be honest. I use football. Tom Brady won all these Super Bowls, played in these Super Bowls. If you really look at it just on a talent basis, he ain't the most talented, super talented. He ain't the super talented one, sure. But he had the right mindset, It's just that simple. But until many change their mind, that chasm, it's just spreading. And I'm going to tell you what with it. And, I want to help as many men as possible, but I'm getting to the point. I'm being like, you know what? I'm going to leave the breadcrumbs for those who don't get it and just deal with the ones who do get it and just help to make them better, Because there's so much out there. Because like I said, at first I was going to do a video just about, these guys with multiple women and everything. And that's, like I said, that's bigger than just getting sex. I mean, like I know this one dude, he thorough as hell. Him and his wives, they build it. He got his kids in college. He buying all these properties, businesses and everything. I'm like, shit. I mean, if he ain't a millionaire, he on his path to it, because he using it. He totally focused on them. Each one of them got their stuff that they do. Shoot, like I said, marriage ultimately a business. Get that romantic thing out of it, to be honest. Or I mean, it could be there, but it's just as much a business. If you're gonna marry somebody, you can love them, but you gotta think about the business aspect. Then that's something deeper, but I'll talk about that later because what I would say to men just real quick, make sure that woman's an asset and she got a wealth consciousness if you're trying to build. Very important. But anyway, that chasm. Sometimes, what? If overall, there's a lot of chasms in society, like rich and poor, because the middle class disappearing. Seriously, the rich, they flying, but you get more and more people becoming poor. And it's so much. Yeah, but you know what? Here's my thing ultimately. I'm going to be on the winning side. Anybody rolling with me want to be on the winning side. And that's all that's all I can offer. That's all I can offer. All right. So anyway, that's all I got for now, y'all. I'm gonna get my usual vittles. Vittles. Anyway, y'all. Oh yeah, keep your teeth fixed. Shit. Make a dentist your good friend, even if they evil at heart. Oh man. Now I mess with dentists. I've known several dental assistants and stuff, and they'll tell you, yeah, we evil. Anyway, y'all. I'll get back with y'all. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace and blessings.